Page 5 of unit conversions. We're going to talk about conversion between Fahrenheit and Celsius. Some people wonder about why the heck do people use the Fahrenheit scale? It's like makes no sense. But it's really interesting if you read about why Fahrenheit started. It really was the best scale for, really primitive labs where they had trouble stabilizing the temperature of ice water. So what they did to make a reference temperature was they put salt in ice water, made a mixture called brine. They could keep the temperature of brine much more stable, which was hard to do back when there wasn't too much technology, no refrigerators or anything. And the temperature of brine happened to be 0 degrees Fahrenheit or, I don't know if it's like -17 or something Celsius. And then as far as like, why did they choose, 212 degrees for boiling point? Actually, they didn't do that. What they did was they chose around 100 degrees for human body temperature. And you notice, like, if you measure your temperature in Celsius, you use, 37 degrees or something really weird, right? But if you measure your temperature in Fahrenheit, it's like 98.6 or something. It's very close to 100. The reason why is because they were trying to make Fahrenheit come out to be 100, close to human body temperature. And then the reason why the number of degrees between 32 degrees, which is the freezing point of water, and the human body temperature is about 64 degrees, and the reason why the number of degrees between 0 and the freezing point of brine and the freezing point of water is 32 degrees apart. Why do they use these weird numbers, 32, 64? The reason why is because when they were trying to divide the thermometer scale up into even units, back then when they didn't have, printers and things to make a really nice printed scale, they basically folded paper multiple times in order to make a scale with even units on it, with uniform units on it. So if you fold a piece of paper once, you get 2 sections. If you fold a paper twice, you get 4 sections, 8 sections, 16 sections, 32 sections, 64 sections. Do you see? So it's really easy to take a piece of paper and divide it up evenly into 32 sections or 64 sections just by folding. Okay? So that's the reason why all the critical points of Fahrenheit were made. So, if you go back and think about the fact that it was, more than 100 years ago, they had to be practical about the way they made the thermometers so that every thermometer would come out to be exactly around the same, right? Anyway, so if they ever give you a problem with Celsius and Fahrenheit, on the IB exam, they're always going to give you this, the formula. So I don't believe the formula is on the formula sheet, but if you ever will have this type of problem, they're going to tell you. Okay? So basically, there's this formula here, which converts Celsius to Fahrenheit. And they might give you the other one too, which converts in the opposite direction. And then there is another formula which converts Kelvin into Celsius. Okay, Kelvin is the absolute zero scale, so it's like, I don't know if you know this, but the temperature cannot get any colder than what is it, -273, or is it -373? It's like -300 Celsius, or Kelvin is like the coldest temperature can be. It's absolute zero. Okay, so this is a formula to switch between Kelvin and Celsius. I don't remember what it is, and you don't have to remember what it is. But anyway, it's about negative 300 or so. Okay, so here's an example, okay, basically converting from 25 Celsius to Fahrenheit, converting from 300 Kelvin to Celsius, and converting 200 Fahrenheit to Celsius, and you're going to use these two formulas to do each one. Okay, so let's go to the exercises. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take 280 Kelvin and convert it into Celsius. Okay, give your answer correct to 1/10 of a degree. So I'm going to take the Kelvin formula, which is this one here, and I'm going to plug in 280. So that would be temperature in Celsius equals 280 minus 273.15. Okay, and then I'm going to use the calculator, and I'm going to turn it on, and 280 minus 273.15. And I'm supposed to give it to the nearest tenth of a degree, so that would be 6.9, okay, because I'm rounding it to the nearest tenth. Now I'm going to take the Fahrenheit temperature, and I'm going to change that into Celsius also. So let's try that. So I'm going to use the other formula, which is, oh, look at that. They did not give me a formula that converts Fahrenheit into Celsius, but we're going to use a little bit of algebra, and we can figure that out. So basically, we're going to use this formula here, So we're going to put temperature in Fahrenheit equals 9/5 times temperature in Celsius plus 32. I know that my temperature in Fahrenheit is 80, so I'm going to fill that in. And then I'm going to put on the other side 9/5 TC. We don't know what TC is yet. Okay, plus 32. And then we're going to do a little bit of algebra, and we're going to subtract 32 from both sides. We're going to get 48 on the left side, and we'll get 9/5 TC on the right side. And so basically, if we multiply both sides by 5/9, then we're going to get the answer. We'll have 5/9 times 48 equals TC. So what is 5/9 divided by 48? So 5 divided by 9 is 0.55555. Multiply that times 48. Gives me 26.7. So the answer here is 26.7 Celsius. And this one was 6.9 Celsius. Okay? Alright. Number 2. Convert into Fahrenheit. Give your answer correct to the nearest degree. Okay, so let's get the formula again. It would be this formula here. So 21 degrees Celsius, I would convert by saying TF equals 9/5 times 21 plus 32. Okay. And we don't have to do any algebra because now everything is on the correct side of the equation. We have the variable on the left, and we have everything else on the right. So we'll do 9/5, which is 1.8. Multiply that times 21. I'm going to add 32. And I get 69.8. But I want the nearest degree, so I'm going to put 70. 70 Celsius. No, 70 Fahrenheit. Right? Okay. Now I'm going to do B. I'm going to do the same thing, except now I want to know 2 degrees Celsius. So, 9/5 times 2 degrees plus 32. I'm going to do a slightly different way on the calculator. I'm going to do 9 times 2 divided by 5. If I do it like that, I don't have to hit enter twice. Okay, 9 times 2 divided by 5. Now I hit enter, and I'm going to add 32. And my answer is 35.6, but to the nearest degree, it would be 36 Fahrenheit. Now I go to number 3. Convert 290 Kelvin to C. What's the formula again for Kelvin? It is Tc equals Tk minus 273.15. So it's Tc equals Tk minus 273.15. Let's try that. We want to change 290 K to Tc, so we don't need to do any algebra because everything's already run on the right side of the equation. So I'm going to take 290K and I'm going to subtract 273. 290 minus 273.15. 16.85. And the answer, we want to, it doesn't say what precision to give it in, so I'm just going to leave. I could put 16.85 Celsius, or I could maybe do 3 significant figures, because that's what's standard for IB. Hence, convert 290K to Fahrenheit. Okay, so now I have a Celsius number here. I'm going to change it to Fahrenheit using this formula again. So TF equals 9/5 TC. TC is 16.85 or 16.9 plus 32. So I'm going to do 9 times 16.85. 9 times 16.85 divided by 5 for the first term, and then I add that to 32, gives me 62.33. So I'll put 62.3 Fahrenheit. Okay. Number 4. A. The formula to convert from Kelvin to Celsius is Tc equals Tk minus 273.15. Find the formula used to convert from C to K. Okay, so the way you do that is basically you take this, and this is algebra, okay? We're going to solve for T sub K. We're going to add 273.15 to both sides. So we'll get Tc plus 273.15 equals Tk. What happened to the negative 273.15 on the right side? It got canceled out because we added 273.15 to each side. And we're done. The formula used to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit is this one. Find the formula used to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. So again, we're going to do algebra and we're going to solve for Tc. First thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 32 from both sides. So we'll have Tf minus 32 equals 9/5 Tc, and then we've subtracted 32 from both sides, so the plus 32 on the right disappears. Now we're going to solve for Tc, so we're going to multiply both sides by 5/9. When we multiply the left side by 5/9, we do need to put the left side in parentheses. Okay, because of PEMDAS. And the 5/9 cancels the 9/5, and we're left with that. And that is the formula used to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. And that's the end of page 5.